much, my sorority sister and friend. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. It is such a pleasure to be here. How are you this afternoon? Good. It is such a pleasure to be here. I am so happy I made the drive across the bridge, and it was a nice day, a beautiful day that God has made to get on the road and to travel. No rain, no storms, just the sun and a nice drive. So I am so happy to be here today. And so good afternoon to all of you, to the pastor of this church and Pastor Hollowell and all of you here today, and to the dynamic members of the National Association of Colored Women's Club, program participants and guests. It is my honor to be here with you this afternoon on this special Founders Day. And being so close to Forest City, you know, I've been over here several times, and it's usually for news stories that I'm doing. But you all have some news over here sometimes too, don't you? But it has been a while, and I always enjoy the ride over. I got here a little early so I could drive through, and I said, yeah, I was here some months ago, maybe it was a year or so ago. I was over at the police department doing a story. And then I drove around, and I saw some other places that I've been. I said, I've been here a couple of times, so it is good. And my sorority sister, Kamisha Rogers, who has corresponded with me throughout this process of planning, told me we aren't a big city, but we're a small town, and we would love to have you here. And you know, I like to think that Memphis isn't really a big city either. It's just that we get a lot of attention. And sometimes the attention we get is not good. But compared to other places, Memphis is not that big at all. So I bring you greetings from a town with big attention, but still that small town feel. I am happy to be here on this Palm Sunday to celebrate Founders Day, because I believe you should always celebrate beginnings. They are our foundation, our legacy, and they set the stage for what's to come. So I commend the National Association of Colored Women's Club for being a solid foundation that set the stage for standing up and being a voice and a beacon on important issues, from fighting racism to providing services to those in need. What a history. You have indeed showed courage. So your theme today, Courage to Follow Through the Crowd, is so appropriate. And yes, true devotion remains when the crowd fades. And you know, when I learned of your theme, I could only say, look at God. At the same time that I was first asked to be a part of the program today, my church, Mississippi Boulevard Christian Church, was starting a 90-day church-wide Bible study. And we are right now doing daily studies of the chapters of Matthew, Mark, and Luke in the Bible. And this is a look at Jesus' time on earth, his ministry, up until he gave his life on the cross. And it's a vivid account of the crowds that followed Jesus as he moved about preaching, teaching, and healing. And you know, you can say that in modern terms that Jesus was a rock star. People heard about him from all over. They flocked to see him. Some just wanted to touch the hem of his garment. He was loved. He was adored. He was admired. But at the same time, he was envied, loathed, and despised. That's the thing about being a rock star. There are those who love you, and there are those who hate you. So crowds followed Jesus. Some to get healed, they just wanted a piece of what he had. Some just to see what he could do, you know, the onlookers, they just want to see what happens. Others to see how he could be stopped, those who were plotting against him. What he was doing was messing up what they were doing, or it could be they just didn't like the attention for what they were doing. So they schemed up a way to stop him. Jesus was getting it from all sides. But those that stood with him, believed in him, had the courage to follow through the crowd. They were devoted because when the crowd died down and Jesus was arrested, persecuted, and sentenced to death on the cross, when the crowds dispersed and the masses turned away and faded, those who were truly devoted remained. They went on to pick up the mantle, continue the work, and spread the word and fight for what Jesus started. So those who have the courage to follow through the crowd, you have a good example. The work you're doing even today is set for the foundation of those who come before you. The leading you do, the standing up you do, is to keep the work of the legendary founders, your leaders, alive. So today we celebrate the strength, the resilience, and the achievements you have shown. Strength is one of those things that sometimes you have to dig deep to find it. It may come easy for some, but for most it requires a sacrifice, giving up some type of comfort, going outside the norm of what everyone else is doing. When the crowds turn away from the mission at hand, it takes strength to stay the course. Strength is saying, I believe in this. While others walk away, I'm going to stay the course. While others speak against this, I will stand up for it. It took strength for those who still supported Jesus to continue the work he had started on earth, to preach the word, to take it to the masses, to build churches, to make disciples. Forces were still against them too. They had to have the strength to move forward. And just think back to the 1800s, when so many odds were against African Americans, the courage it took to start a great organization like the National Association of Colored Women's Club. Can you imagine the scrutiny? The naysayers, the people who actually tried to stop it. Yes. You're going to do what? Start a club for who? Girl, nobody never did nothing like that. You're getting beside yourself. How are you going to do that? But the founders, the women who knew there was work to be done, who knew the community, the women, the children, the families needed help, had the strength to continue their mission, to see their vision through. That takes strength to continue the mission of the National Association of Colored Women's Clubs, to combat the racism they faced in the 1800s, and dare I say racism that still exists today. That takes strength. To promote the women's issues and make sure women's rights are not tossed aside or forgotten, that takes strength. To make sure the least of these, the poor, the elderly, the hungry, the homeless, are not tossed aside, but to be a voice for them, that takes strength. The work you do today in a CWC, that takes strength. The standing up and being a hand, a helping hand in Forest City, that takes strength. You have shown that you are strong. As the work got harder, the workers fewer, the crowd dwindled, you remain devoted to the work at hand. The mission is still important, and you have shown strength in continuing the work. So today we celebrate your strength. But it's not only strength, we also celebrate your resilience. Now, resilience may not flow easily from the tongue, and some may not know exactly what it is, but when you see it, you know it. Resilience is toughness, withstanding the storm. When things get bad or go wrong, you don't give in. You bounce back, you hunker down, you batten down the hatches, you dig in your heels, and you continue to work. That's what Jesus' followers did. Imagine the darkness that followed after their leader was crucified, hung on a cross. Continuing was dangerous. It was hard. It wasn't popular, but they were resilient. When Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated, to continue the work was dangerous. It was difficult. But leaders like the late Reverend Jesse Jackson and Andrew Young and others were resilient. And you too, Semper Fidelis Club, are resilient as you continue the work of Ida B. Wells, Margaret Murray Washington, and others. Your work in the community is keeping the legacy alive, whether through voter education and registration or empowering our youth, our future leaders. It is about keeping the mission and vision alive, and you are doing it well. As you continue the fundraising for causes and pushing for social reform, giving voice to the voiceless, your resilience is making a difference. It's providing hope, it's changing lives, and your resilience is celebrated. And finally, we celebrate your achievements. You know, on this final few days of Women's History Month, there is no better example than the National Association of Colored Women's Clubs, standing as women's organizations that have been there and continue to be there serving the community. Women making history, women of achievement. Now, you know, there are all kinds of achievements, but it's the work we do for others that is our greatest achievement. When we put others above ourselves, when we lift up the downtrodden, when we advocate for the least of these, we're doing the work of Jesus. It might not be popular, it takes courage, and it might not draw crowds, but it's the achievement that will change lives and make a difference and be remembered. Maybe not by society, but by the one who matters more than anyone else, our God. Achievements for his kingdom work matters the most. He saw the work of civil rights leaders during the movement, and though they were slain here on earth, their true rewards come in heaven. He sees what we do today. It's the work of the National Association of Colored Women's Clubs that he sees, and the achievements that you are making. And when he says, "That is my servant in whom I am well pleased," that is the greatest achievement. So when the crowds don't cheer, when they turn and go home, your work and true devotion remains, and God sees that. And not just achieving, he also see you making sure you are lifting as you climb, bringing someone else up and on so they can soar just as well. And doing it while realizing that you may, in the process, be touching the next president, the leader, the change maker of your group, and indeed of this world. Yes, you are keeping alive that mission to make sure the community as a whole survives and thrives. From issues like segregation, voter suppression, access to education and health care that spurred this great organization into existence, to those same issues that we continue to fight today. Just think about that. In the 1800s, the society was divided. Surely, 130 years later, surely we would be united and equal. In the 1800s, voter rights were being suppressed. Surely, after 130 years, we would not still be fighting for the right to vote. Surely not. In the 1800s, people were being denied access to quality education and health care. Surely 130 years later, that fight would have been won. Surely everyone would have access to the same type of education, in the same well-funded school systems, in the same pristine buildings, with the same well-paid teachers, Surely, surely after 130 years, healthcare in the wealthiest country in this world would be available to everyone. Healthcare would be affordable and in every community. Surely, 130 years later. We have come so far, but surely we still have so far to go. You see why your work is so crucial in a CWC. Your achievements are many, and there is still more to do as you picked up the mantle of your founders and others prepare to pick up the mantle from you. So, Sisters of Semper Fidelis Club, like your name suggests, you have remained always faithful. So we celebrate your strength, your resilience, and your achievements. You have shown courage to follow through the crowd. Your true devotion remains when the crowd fades. Continue to be the voice. Continue to be the light. Continue to take a stand. Your illustrious founders and your God are watching, and our future generation is depending on you. Happy Founders Day.